Welcome to the Chester County Intermediate Unit's Telepractice training. This video will review considerations for effective telepractice sessions. We have identified 3 key areas that contribute to student success within telepractice sessions, including environmental considerations, e-helper behavior, and instructor behavior. We will review each of these key areas throughout this short training. The objectives for this training are as follows. Name 3 key areas that contribute to student success in telepractice sessions. Identify environmental considerations for telepractice success. Identify strategies for working with an e-helper. And describe techniques an instructor might use to encourage student success. The first key area for telepractice success is environmental considerations. Environmental considerations should be reviewed with the e-helper prior to the start of telepractice. First, it is important to limit distractions as much as possible, including turning off the TV, putting electronics away, and limiting the number of individuals in the room. The space may also need to be organized so that highly preferred items are out of reach and only available to the student through the e-helper. Lighting is another important consideration. It is best to have instructors and students seated in front of a window or light source as opposed to light from behind, because this can create a glare or shadows that make it difficult to see. Seating and positioning recommendations will vary based on the service delivery model you are utilizing for telepractice. During teacher or therapist-led instruction, students should be seated in an upright position and have a stable surface in front of them and under their feet if possible. Enlist the help of e-helpers to position devices so that the screen is easily viewable to the student. Likewise, the student should be positioned in the center of the screen so the instructor can see and hear clearly. The picture to the right provides a great example of how the environment can be set up to encourage student success. During caregiver coaching sessions, environmental considerations such as positioning will depend on the goal of the telepractice session. It is recommended that environmental considerations be discussed with the caregiver at the beginning of each coaching session. For example, during a coaching session where the goal is to work on ADL skills like hand washing, the teacher or therapist might need to work with the e-helper to position the device appropriately. The last environmental consideration is preparing the technology for telepractice success. This may include making sure the student is positioned close to the wireless router or hotspot for the best internet connection. In addition, instructors should spend time familiarizing themselves with virtual learning platforms and practicing key features with students and e-helpers as needed. For example, teaching how to use an annotation tool or toggle between different camera views ahead of time may streamline telepractice sessions in the future. Having a plan for technology troubleshooting in advance helps instructors and e-helpers know what to do in the case of technology problems. For example, we recommend providing the family with the teacher or therapist phone number and having the family's number easily accessible. We also recommend that you create a document outlining these environmental considerations to share with your families. Finally, review environmental considerations frequently and ask e-helpers to make modifications as needed. Feedback can be provided before, during, or after sessions in verbal or written form. Just like we do with our students, remember to offer praise in addition to corrective feedback when discussing environmental considerations with e-helpers. The next key component to effective telepractice sessions is e-helper behavior. An e-helper is the person with the student who is helping to facilitate the session. This could be a parent, caregiver, or staff member. We recommend making initial contact with e-helpers prior to starting telepractice in order to review expectations for attendance and make sure they can access sessions. This is also a good time to begin to establish a good rapport. It is important to set clear expectations for e-helpers in order to ensure that sessions run smoothly. We recommend you create a document outlining these e-helper guidelines to share with families. The guidelines may review the traits of an effective e-helper, some do's and don'ts, and a plan for managing challenging behavior. Review expectations for eHelper behavior regularly by making it part of your routine. Provide feedback to eHelpers within and following telepractice sessions in verbal or written form. Remember to offer praise in addition to corrective feedback when discussing eHelper behavior. You will learn more about eHelper expectations later on in this training series. The last key area we are going to discuss is instructor behavior. We have identified several proactive strategies that can be used by an instructor to increase student success, including creating structured, predictable routines, mixing and varying activities and materials, selecting goals to target, and incorporating lots of fun, easy skills. Many of these may sound familiar, as most of the strategies that make in person instruction successful apply to telepractice as well. This is not an exhaustive list of what makes a great telepractice instructor, but incorporating these key strategies into your telepractice sessions can lead to student success. The first key area of instructor behavior that we have found to be important is creating structured, predictable routines. Just like in face to face sessions, our students benefit from knowing the expectations during telepractice sessions. As we just learned, e-helpers appreciate knowing what's expected too. The predictability allows some of our students to work through portions of a session that may be more challenging for them. Here you can see two examples of a general structure for a telepractice session. We recommend creating a structure that works for you and your students by considering individual student needs. For example, you may start your telepractice session with welcome activities and reviewing the schedule and rules, then move into 2 or 3 theme-based activities to target student goals. Last, you could wrap up with a goodbye activity. Another structure that could be used during telepractice sessions would start with observation and checking in with the eHelper. Next, the session could embed teaching opportunities into ongoing routines in the student's environment. To end, instructors and eHelpers could review the current session and plan for the next one. Another important strategy is to mix and vary materials within your telepractice sessions. Consider utilizing screen-based and non-screen-based activities that are related to a theme or objective, are culturally and linguistically sensitive, and are individualized and engaging to your students. Screen-based lessons may include web-based activities such as online songs, books, or games, and educational websites. Screen-based lessons may also utilize computer programs such as Microsoft PowerPoint, PDFs, or green screens. Non-screen-based activities are another great way to keep your students engaged. These can range from using a routines-based approach in the student's environment, to playing with toys or everyday objects, to sharing traditional teaching materials such as manipulatives, flashcards, or visuals. Also consider incorporating movement breaks as a way to vary your telepractice routine. Getting up and moving provides more opportunities to actively participate in activities, especially if communicating using their words might be challenging for your students. Let's take a look at an example of how a teacher might mix and vary screen-based and non-screen-based activities during a telepractice session. As you can see, the instructor is planning to start with an online story that incorporates movement, then do a PowerPoint game, and end with sensory play with everyday objects in the student's environment. Additionally, choices can be provided to the students just like they may be in the classroom setting. For example, 3 different books may be offered as choices to begin the session. The next consideration for instructor behavior is selecting goals to target within a telepractice session. As with face-to-face instruction, knowing what your students need to learn and their individual strengths and needs can help you design a lesson to help them achieve their goals. In this example of a group telepractice session, the instructors identified common materials their students already had in their homes. Then, they designed a motivating activity that allowed them to target a variety of student goals, including early play skills, functional use of objects, imitating actions, following directions, labeling items and actions, and answering questions. Instructors also worked with the eHelpers in order to identify appropriate prompts and prompt fading strategies to meet each student's needs. Let's take a look.
Honey, are you stirring your water? Are you mixing it up? Good job.
Honey,
are you mixing?
Wow.
Danny is mixing.
Yeah, he's mixing. Oh, I see that Adriel's mixing too. Good job, Adriel. And Savi, are you scoop and pouring?
Sanvi, what are you doing?
Oh, Sanvi, what do you have?
Like the water bottle. I'm gonna scoop up my water and dump.
Miss Martha is dumping her water.
And
Yeah,
dump.
Dump.
Oh, look, Ranbir is washing his car.
Oh, Ranbir, I like how you're washing your car with the sponge. Good job.
Wash.
Good job.
I think
You're washing your
more
car.
soap.
Good job.
Look, I'm gonna
Honey,
The last tip to remember as a telepractice instructor is to incorporate lots of fun, easy skills. As you will see in this example, this strategy keeps students feeling confident and successful and encourages active participation, which is especially helpful in a group setting. This can also help in building momentum for more challenging tasks.
All right, let's see what's next.
What is it?
A monster.
A monster! You're right! A monster! We can say,
What is it?
another monster!
Another monster.
Another monster, you're right, Cora.
In summary, the 3 key areas for establishing student success via telepractice are environmental considerations, eHelper behavior, and instructor behavior. We recommend you reflect on your sessions to determine how you might modify these 3 key areas in order to make telepractice with your students as effective as possible. If you have any questions about the content presented within this training video, feel free to reach out to Courtney Cohen or Liz Willis at the Chester County Intermediate Unit. Thanks for watching.